Hi, testers. Welcome. We're going to continue working on what we were working on yesterday because after we got done, I started digging in more. And I thought, you know what? This is a good opportunity for all of us to come together to look at these types of things. Ready? One, how does the theme mod custom logo work versus how the options site logo works? Right? That's what's causing some of this confusion here in this particular ticket. Number two, what changed and when did it change? Because there's a change that happened in 5.8. Okay. Number three, is that change causing some of these problems that's going on? Are these problems? Okay. Of course there's problems because we have a couple of folks that are having issues with it. Question is where does the issue lie? Plugin, theme, core, or some combination thereof. So going in now, we're going to go into the rabbit hole. I warned you yesterday, don't go into the rabbit hole, but now we're going to go into the rabbit hole and take a look. Because this is a great opportunity to start to figure out when you want to go to the next step. How do you know how something works? So you gain more context around core. How do you look at files to be able to figure out, wait a minute, when did something change? So that you can start to see, okay, am I on the right path by telling them this isn't core, this is Jetpack, this is a theme, this is XYZ, right? And it might also help you in how you're testing things because you might go, wait a minute, I need to test this thing as well. Okay. So what do you think? You think that's a good topic to go through today? Hi, everybody, by the way. It's nice to, I wish you're all here were like on a Zoom call or something. We probably need to do that too, don't we? Set up some sort of call just with active office hours and testing. Maybe that would kind of be fun as well. But for today, we're going to do a live stream so that folks who can't be with us in this particular session can come back and watch it later async. So we'll do that, and then as a team, we can talk about how we want to do these working sessions. Okay. Yeah, and the Zoom call. Hey, Jonathan. Yeah, I think so too. I think we can kind of figure out some things. What I saw yesterday was I was testing, and then somebody raised their hand and say, test this. Okay, let's do that. Ooh, test that. Ooh, let's do that. And before you knew it, we went, uh-oh. We just reproduced one of the problems that I hadn't seen before. So as a team, collectively, we can collaborate together to help one to be able to understand the process and develop this process of testing. Because remember, we are rebuilding this team. So we get the opportunity to build up our processes. So doing it together in these types of working sessions makes it more, I don't know, real, relative. Yeah, I'll go with that. You have to excuse me. This is only my second cup of coffee, so it's morning for me. So I might not be fully awake. All right. All right. So thanks for all the thumbs up. Really appreciate when we can work as a team. All right. I'm going to switch over to my other screen, and then let's kind of figure out. Maybe we need to start. What do you think? Start where we left off yesterday. Maybe a quick little recap so we can all get back in the headspace. I think I need that. All right, I'm going to switch over the screenshot. Hold on just one sec. Okay. As I do every morning, I come in and I go to the WordPress develop branch and I fetch all the upstream changes, merge them in, and then push them to my fork of that project. Okay, that way I can just kind of stay up to date. It's one of the very first things I do every morning. So that's why this is open right here. But we're going to get out of Terminal. Terminal kind of freaks out a lot of people. And as a tester, you don't necessarily need it. If you want to work in like VVV, Docker, some of these other more command line type tools, then you would use it. But You don't have to. There are plenty of GUI-based systems that don't require you to have to learn all the different Git commands and how to spin up Docker and all these other things. But that is another way of being able to work. Now, one of the things, I'm just going to kind of mention this because it just popped in my head, is I will do some separate streams on how to set up different environments. Okay. Right now I have Mac, but I am spinning up a Windows site as well. So then I'll be able to spin up different environments too in Mac, Linux, and Windows so that we can help all of our teammates be able to come in and be able to test and get up and running. Just so that you all knew that that is something I'm thinking about. So if you have some suggestions, maybe in Slack, DM me, whatever, we can talk more about what you all think the needs are for our team and all the people who would like to come and be active testers. Okay. Now that we've segued to that, let's get back in. Let's see. I did see a question about Know the Code membership. Let me just real fast ask you that. Yes, it is off topic. And not part of the WordPress community and the work that we're doing here, but I see the question and I'm just going to answer it. And you can DM me in Slack, please, and we can talk about that separately. But I just will tell you that, no, I'm not accepting new members. I've closed down the membership side of Know the Code for people to purchase new memberships. Active members keep their memberships. And the reason is because I'm full-time dedicated to contributing to WordPress Core. I made that switch in February, and I believe this is the place where I can have the most impact at helping as many people as I can. And I just don't have the time to also do Know the Code as well. So that's the answer to the Know the Code question. Thank you for asking it. But let's get back to Core. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to come back to here, and I'm just going to scroll back up. So after our session yesterday, and all of you were awesome, by the way. Thank you for participating in that process. What we did was we went through and we were able to reproduce one of the problems. Remember what it was? I'm going to scroll down here, and you can see this X here. So whenever you see me put the green check mark, that means worked as expected, worked as expected, worked as expected. Whoa, red X. Yeah, that one is not expected. So in that case, the logo rendered in the customizer field, the settings field, and on the front end, but we were able to reproduce it not rendering in customizer. Okay. And that was only with the Coercion theme and Jetpack, probably any other theme that's using just the Jetpack side of things. But in 2021 and the 2020 theme, we could not reproduce it. It worked as expected, with and without Jetpack. Okay, so I captured all of that, all of my steps, testing steps, and the testing results, summarized them so that someone doesn't have to read all the steps to go, just give me that. And then I did some observations, okay? To kind of help with these observations were to help to think about what's next. What should contributors look at next? And that kind of guides in sharing the thinking process of, it doesn't appear to be a WordPress 5.8 problem because it also happened in 5.7.2. Okay. And right now we're suspecting it's Jetpack plugin, but that may or may not be true. Okay. So I just shared that here so that we could all come together on what we've collected as a team in our testing processes. I'm going to go one more. Let me back out of what we're doing today. Our QA folks that are on the team, I'm going to drop, maybe I'll create a P2 for it. But I'd like to share this testing report as like a template, but I want you all to take it and what do you all do in your normal workflow? And bring those ideas here so that we can come up with a testing report right? A template that all of us can use. But I think as a team, we need to come together and talk about that as a team. So I think I'll create a P2 where we can all capture that feedback in one place. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Slack, it kind of gets lost, right? And I want everybody's feedback on that, especially from our QA folks, because you guys are doing this type of stuff, right? These testing reports. So if this works or you have some other ideas, let's do that. Okay. All right. So the testing report is reporting, and I'm just going to say this one more time. It's capturing and summarizing what you did in your test. Okay. It doesn't and likely shouldn't go down the rabbit hole of trying to solve the problem. Instead, it should be much more objective into, I did this, this is the result. I did this, this was the result, right? And capture all that. And then you can add another comment after that report that can add some of your thinking, suspension. Oh gosh. Some of the things you're thinking about might be the problem. What you suspect might be the problem to kind of help with, let's look here as a next step, okay? And that's what I did in this comment, was to say, we as a team, because we all did this together, couldn't reproduce the problem that was directly being reported, that it was only in 5.8, and it wouldn't render on the front end or in the customizer. We're just saying that we did reproduce the problem of the customizer previewer not rendering, but it didn't just happen in 5.8, and it only happened with a theme that isn't using the theme mod. Okay. When I started playing with that last night, I noticed something and went, wait a minute. I started thinking about what the other reporter was saying, where there was a change, that it went from int to string, and there was some difference in the database between the site logo and why was it coming with a different themes mod. And that got me thinking, we need to understand what that's doing. Okay. And that's what we're going to do today, because I got a little confused myself. So it was good to go in. Now, the next thing I did is I shared with the tickets reporter, answered some of their questions, right? So they had thought, because the plugins hadn't been updated, but WordPress had, that the plugins are not the issue, only Core, because only Core updated. That's not true, because older plugins we know may now have an incompatibility because they didn't get updated to something that changed in Core. And that also got me thinking about what changed in Core and when did it change. Okay. So I'm advising to the ticket reporter, hey, please deactivate all your plugins except for Jetpack. And why? Why do we want them to do this? Remember, asking site owners to do this is probably their live site, right? So when they do this, one, they're taking their time to go and deactivate. And if they've got a lot of plugins, they've got to keep track of which ones did they have activated and which ones they don't, right? That's a lot of load on them. And two, it's their live site. So they're changing what their site looks like. So they could do it. Yes, you could say, go do it in staging or put up a maintenance page, but not all users know how to do that. So we want to be respectful when we ask folks to deactivate all your plugins. In this case, we really need this person, if they could please, to do this, because they're reporting a second problem we've not been able to reproduce. They told us that it also doesn't render in the front end, right? So is that a problem that is hidden somewhere in Core? We just haven't been able to reproduce it yet. Well, it's possible, right? It's probably more probable that it's a theme, but, just so that we know, it's something that we want to be aware of when we ask people to deactivate all their plugins. Okay? All right. Now, the reporter asked, that is the theme, get theme mod, custom logo is returning something different in 5.8. Could this be the problem? And what I shared here, and that's what got me going down the rabbit hole, was to take a look and see, well, what is the Coercion theme doing first? Because that's what the reporter is using, and speak specifically to this ticket, the issue of this ticket. So the Coercion theme is not using the theme mod custom logo. All right, let's go and take a look. Let me see if I can minimize this. Where are you? Okay, that's 2021. Here's the Coercion theme. And I'm in the database now. And if we look at this, I'm just going to do a swoops. Where am I? We'll do custom logo and search. There is not a theme mod, a modification for this theme that has a custom logo, right? And if you search the theme in its code, you'll notice it's not using custom logo as a theme mod. There is no get theme custom logo, get theme mod custom logo in the theme itself, this particular theme. Why? Why? I'll share the answer with you. Because it's requiring Jetpack. That's why. It's requiring Jetpack to add this field into the customizer so that site owners can add a logo, right? So Jetpack uses the site logo option. It's not a theme mod, site logo option. All right, so that tells us then, let's see if I can do that. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and put this back up here. That tells us there's two different ways to have a logo. With the site logo option is one way. The second way is by putting it into a theme mod. Here it is right here. Can you see that? Is that big enough? Yeah, okay, I can see the screen. Using the custom logo theme modification that's specific to that theme. Here's 2021. Coercion doesn't have it. Here's Coercion. That one doesn't have it. How about 2020? Let's go look at that one. Ta-da! And we'll go and let's see. Here's the custom logo. That one has it too. Okay. Do you kind of see where the confusion starts to come in? Because you're like, wait a minute. What's the difference? Well, if you think about this, each theme, right? There's different settings and different things that want to be rendered. The theme is handling that structure and styling. That's what the theme is, like the skin, right? Each theme then can say, I have this custom logo. I'm going to pull it out specific to my theme, and I'm going to do something with it. Now, another way to do it is with this, wait, I went to the wrong one, sorry. Is with the site logo, which is what the plugin is using, site logo. Okay, what's the correlation between these two? Well, there's where I started going down the rabbit hole. Okay, and now I want to share this with you so that all of us can learn together. So what I did here was, if you want to read this, feel free here. Let me see if I can capture. Oh yeah, it's still up here. Comment 16. I'm going to put this here in the live chat. Okay. That right there is where I captured the difference between the two and where they intersect, because they do intersect. Okay. All right. So let's see if I can break this down. Whew. There was a change in 5.8. I have not yet gone backwards now to see if this change just centralized it. Was this particular way of handling always there? It just got reconceptualized or repackaged in a different form in 5.8. That's going to have to be the next step. Okay, and that's something I'm going to be looking at today. But let's start with an understanding of the state that we're in right now with 5.8. So there was a change in 5.8, okay? There is a new private function that got, actually a couple of them that got added to override the theme mod custom logo using the site logo. So if that site logo option exists, it's going to use that instead of the theme mod. Let that sink in for a minute. I'll drink a little bit of coffee while you let that sink in. And then I'll show you the code. Okay, let's think about this. Imagine I'm a site owner and I set a logo. Okay, and now I change the theme. And imagine that that theme had a different logo in it. Do I want my site to go to a different logo? I set a logo. My thinking on this, and we can all discuss it and see what you think. And I haven't validated this yet with the theme team to understand if this is a desired state or not. But my thinking on this is if I'm a user, I set a logo, I want my logo to be the logo for the site, whether I change to a different theme or not. The theme can decide if it wants to render it out, but I wouldn't expect it that if I change from Coercion to 2021 and then go back to Coercion, but in 2021 I change to a different logo, I would expect to keep my same logo because now my branding, I may have had old branding when I tried something. Right, so I'm switching themes. I would expect that I keep my logo. It's my logo. It's my brand. I'm thinking that might be a validation of why this is doing this. And I shared that thinking process here, right? So it means right here, that's this part. Okay, but I'm thinking that's why there's this override that's going on. The theme has a logo. Another theme could have a different logo. Maybe it's your old one. And another theme could have another logo that could have been years ago logo. So being able to switch between the themes, it's going to use the site logo as that can work for all the different themes. Now, how does it do that? Well, I talked about the overriding process. Okay, there's an override in here that goes through a filter. So if the site logo option that I showed you in the database exists, it's going to use that one instead of the theme mod custom logo. There's also another function in here that when you push that publish button, it updates your current theme to be that site logo unless you've changed it. Okay, so it gets them in sync. It synchronizes the two. So the site logo and the custom logo in the theme mod then become synchronized when you push that public or publish button. Let me show you the code. Oh, where is it? Hold on one second. Sorry, I'm bouncing around. I shared where is it? Oh, right here. This reference here, this is the ticket number that introduced this in 5.8. And this, when you see it in the square brackets, that's the change set or the commit, the merge, the code when it came into Core. Okay, ticket, change set. All right, let's open this up. We're going to come down. Where is it? Site logo block. Here's the register and so on. So you got to go through all these files to find it. Darn it, that wasn't so easy, was it? Let's see if we can go back. Sorry, this will take me a second. This was late yesterday when I was doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and find, where is this? Is this in here? Nope, it's not. I have too many things open. Is this in here? Nope, we'll get rid of both of these. You're in here somewhere. There it is. Okay, this is the code that got added. Can you see it? Let me make it larger. Larger. There we go. So there is a filter, theme mod underscore, what's the name of the theme mod, which is custom logo, right? And that's in there. Anytime you do a get underscore theme mod, this filter runs. Okay, That's again because one of the reporters was every time I do the get_theme mod custom logo, it's bringing in a different logo. Well, it's because it's pulling it from the site logo. And that's what you see here. This calls this callback. If the site logo exists, it's going to use the site logo. If not, it'll use the custom logo. Aha! And this was introduced in 5.8. Now, like I said, caution, 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 this overriding may have existed before. I've got to go backwards, and I'll do that later today, to see what was it in 7.2 and in 5.6, just so we can start to unwrangle this. And then my next step then would also be to go talk to the core theme team to make sure that this is the expected behavior when switching themes. Is this what is wanted here? Okay. There's also, if we just scroll down here, there's also a get it in sync that got added too. Okay. And what this does is this preset theme mod and then the name of the mod, this filter runs when you do that publish or save. Aha. Okay. So every time you publish and you're changing the theme modifications, it's going to resync up here. And notice that it's taking this value here. If there's a value, then it'll set the site logo. Okay. If there's not, then it'll delete the site logo. And what that's going to do is sync up between that custom logo and the site logo to make sure that they're the same, but only when you publish. All right. I'm going to stop for a second here. The second reporter on the ticket, here, let me see if I can make this larger for you, said, I looked in the database and the custom logo returned is from another themes mod in the options table. Well, I suspect that it's not from another themes mod per se, although that other theme mod did update the site logo. I suspect that what this person is seeing when they look in the database, and here comes the confusion, is the current themes mod for custom logo is one ID, and the site logo is another ID, two different IDs. And that's confusing when you go under the hood and you look into the database. Let's see if we can see that. Okay. Here is, let's see. Is that one Coercion? Yeah, that one's Coercion. See the theme name right there? That's how you know theme mod _ name of the theme. Okay, we don't need that because that one doesn't have it. Custom logo here is 52, and this one's 49. Was that the 2021? No, that's the 2020. Let's go to 21. Is also 52. Okay. See if I can put these side by side. Okay. I'm just looking on the screen to make sure that this is looking okay for y'all. Okay. Site logo is ID 49. This is going to override 2021's theme, which is, if it's the current theme, its theme mod was 52. Notice the numbers are different. 52 is in the theme mod for 2021. The site logo is 49. So if you look in the database, you're going to be confused. If you remembered in your switching, and you can try this, go ahead and go try it. Go to a different theme, set a logo. Okay, publish. Great. Now go switch the theme. Okay, change it to a different logo, save. Now go back to that old theme again. And what you're going to notice is, wait a minute, it's rendering from the other theme. So you're thinking that, wait a minute, my site logo is different than what I would have expected here. It's because of that override. Okay, questions? Does this make sense to you, what's going on? There was a change in 5.8. site logo overrides. It takes priority. If there's a site logo, it's going to use that one. They do get resynced when you publish, but if you're switching themes, which I don't know how often folks do, if they go and switch themes, set a logo, set a different logo, it's probably an oddball edge case here, but it is something that can happen, and we're seeing it right now. Any questions? I'll wait. Now, I invite you to go try this. Test it yourself. See how it works. Understand it. This is a good opportunity to learn a little bit more about how WordPress works. Okay, I'll give you just like 30 more seconds. I'll fill the time with drinking my coffee, humming a song maybe. You don't want me to sing though. All right. So the question was, but the problem wasn't there. This isn't causing the problem of not rendering in Customizer's Previewer. This is going back to but if I look in the database, the logo ID for this theme is different than the site logo. And that question of when I do a get theme mod for custom logo, it might be, I'm not understanding the number that's there. So, but this is not causing nor part of the not rendering in the Customizer Previewer, right? The only reason I'm bringing this up is one, because the reporter, another reporter asked about it, and the original ticket reporter wondered if this was causing part of the problem, and it's not, that I can see it's not. Two, it also gave all of us an opportunity to better understand the difference between the theme mod and the site logo and how they interact. I would actually say even number 3 is that something did change in 5.8, so it gave us the opportunity to look at what changed. Does that kind of make sense? Okay, good. Got a thumbs up. Awesome. All right. You might be wondering, how did I find out what changed? Yeah? Are you kind of wondering, how did I discover that? Oops, these are other tickets. I'm going to get rid of that. I've got myself in a loop. Oh no. This one. Okay. How did I find that? Here's my process that might help you to be able to backtrack how things are working. Where's the code at? I'm going to bring this back up again. I noticed when I switched to the 2020 theme after using it and then going to Coercion and changing and coming back, it was like, wait a minute, the 2020 theme, I set a different logo. What's going on here? This is the logo from what I just set in Coercion. This doesn't make sense to me. And I went, oh, wait a minute. I've got to look at this. So I noticed an anomaly that made me go, I need to look deeper. And it actually wasn't an anomaly per se. It's actually how it's working. So what I did let me get out of this. We'll come backwards. I went to the theme itself to look at how is the theme actually rendering out the logo? What's it doing? And then I compared that to the other theme. Okay, so this can kind of give you some help to try to figure out what's going on. Well, if we go into Coercion, I think it's in header. Yeah, here it is. Here's where the Coercion theme is actually putting that branding on there, that logo. And this function is actually coming out of Jetpack. Okay, so if we look now, this is in Jetpack. and it's calling this Jetpack site logo. So then I could go and see that, wait a minute, okay, so the Coercion theme is doing that, and what's the site logo doing? Well, I'm going to skip over that. It first tries to call this theme mod, okay, and the Coercion theme doesn't have that theme mod, so I knew that that was going to not be anything there. And then I saw, wait a minute, it's using the site logo. So that got me thinking about, okay, there's a difference between these two. Interesting. So then I went into the 2021 theme. Sorry, I'm jumping around here. Where am I? Oh, I'm in plugins, that's why. I'm going to lower that, get rid of that. Let's go down here into 2021. And if we look in template parts header, here's the branding. 2021 theme is using this native WordPress function that's called the custom logo. I thought, okay, what's that doing? And that led me down the path to start looking a little bit more into what could be going on here. So what I'm going to do is, let's go and find this for y'all just real quick. Function, that one, it's in the general templating, and notice that it does that, then it echoes out the get. This is a very common practice pattern that you'll see in WordPress to do this way. So now we can go and find where that's at. Whoops. Okay. Man, oh man. I can tell it's just going to be one of those kinds of days. Don't y'all think? Yeah, okay. I know it's in here. Hold on one sec. All right, there. Go that route. All right. And then I started looking at this particular function. And it's like, okay, that's interesting. It goes and gets the theme mod. Here's the theme mod. If there's a theme mod, then it comes through and it does all of this type of work. And then I got down to here and I went, okay, you're doing this, you're doing lots of things. Get the custom logo down here. Now, then I thought, well, wait a minute, this doesn't really tell me much. Let's go look at this theme mod. All right, so then I went to go and look at the theme mod, and it gets all the mods. And if that particular name exists, custom logo, which in the Coercion theme, it does not exist, okay, then it would use and apply this filter. Here's the filter right here, okay. Is the default a string? No, it's not a string. So in Coercion's case, it skipped all of this code and it jumped right down here to the filter theme mod underscore the name. So then I thought, okay, what's this filter? And that led me to find the changes that happened in 5.8 because those changes are registered to that filter theme underscore mod underscore custom logo. That's how I found these changes. Okay, so sometimes that's why I say be very careful if you're going to go down the rabbit hole to try to figure out what's going on here because it can literally lead you down the rabbit hole. But here you can see this is the code that got added. Notice that we did an add filter, theme, mod, underscore, and the name was custom logo. So when that filter runs, if there's a site logo, it overrides that theme mod. Okay, so just kind of sharing that with you so that you can kind of unpack that. All right. From a testing standpoint for you testers, this is interesting. And if you have the ability and you're curious, you can go down this rabbit hole. But I'm going to caution you, look how I had to go through all these functions and then be curious to go, wait a minute, there's a filter. Where's this? Go to that, go to this, go to this. And it can really lead you down a path to where you just go, right? So that's why I say as testers, what we want to do when we're trying to reproduce is use caution to try to figure out what could be going on. Instead, first, objectively test, report your findings. And then you can say, okay, I am curious. I want to go more. Then go in and see if you can start to diagnose and figure out what's going on. And when you get in the rabbit hole and you're confused, come into the channel and stop and ask, or go to the team that actually worked on that part of the code and go ask, right? It's a great way to learn. That's what I love about testing and triage. Oh my goodness. I learn every single day. Something new about Core, something new about testing, something new about something. That's really what I love about testing. Not only are we helping to make Core better, and we're helping people when they have issues to guide them to the next step to resolve their issue. We do that, and that's huge and impactful, but we also get to learn, and sometimes we can even help in the resolution process to help contributors to figure out this is some of the contributing factors. It happens in this type of mashup of steps. This is the problem, and now they know what to go and fix. Testing is awesome when it comes to those types of things. So, all right, what questions do you have? I think I've accomplished what I wanted to do today in this particular stream, so I'm just kind of curious if you have any questions. By the way, you might not now because I just threw a whole bunch of information at you and your brain might be going, that's too much. That's okay. Think about it. I'm hoping that I shared a process with you for how you discover how the code is working. And you can come back and ask questions later or DM me privately, or let's just talk in our channel. Come on, we got the Core Test channel. It's okay to ask questions. Guess what? You might think a question's dumb, but I'm going to ask a lot of dumb questions in there myself. So to me, there isn't a dumb question. It's okay to ask anything. Oh, you're all so quiet today. Yeah, the int to string thing. So here's one thing I'm going to tell you. I couldn't reproduce that yesterday, but that was something I was saving. Here, I'm going to put this up on the screen. I was trying to reproduce that last night, and I wasn't able to reproduce it, but I got so stuck going down the rabbit hole to try to fix this, to figure this out. So that is an area where any of y'all can dig into that. I have some code that I'll share later that you can use for testing and trying to figure that one out too, and I'll share my process. But I do want to share with y'all this. In PHP, it will do a type coercion, if you will. So in the database, it's a string, okay? It's a string. It's not an int. It's a string. So when it comes out of the database, there's code somewhere that's doing a typecast and switching that string into an integer. That could be done through a filter somewhere on that person's site, maybe some plugin, maybe the theme is doing it, and so on. But in the database, it's a string, and it comes out, and then it's juggled and switched into an integer. Now, PHP, unless it's in strict mode, okay, strict mode means not only the values match, but also the data type matches. Int and string are two different data types, but with loose comparisons, it will work. We see a lot of IDs that are strings for post ID, an attachment ID. They come out of the database, they're strings until you convert them into integers, okay? So there, like I said, I haven't yet dug into it, and I invite you to do the same. See if you can test it on 10, 5.8, 5.72, 5.6. I'm not seeing anything in the code or the changes in Core that did any type manipulation, data type manipulation from string to int. I haven't fully dug into it yet. So yes, I'm confused by that too. I'm guessing if I can't find it, you crack me up. Yeah, you're right. My mind just went to, let's just jump. Imagine what WordPress 10 will be. Wow. But yeah, there's something going on there. I don't necessarily, my suspicion right now is that it's not in Core. It's something on that person's site, some theme, plugin, whatever, is doing a manipulation. But I want to validate that before I share that suspicion. I invite all of you to do the same. Okay, and if you want to collaborate on it together and test together, we can do that in the channel and work together on it. Okay, good question, by the way. That is on my mind today. The couple of things that I'm going to be working on is checking that out, the int to string thing. They also said something about it used to be an array. I don't see. That kind of leads me to think that there's something different on their site. That once it was an array using something, and now it's an int string. So want to check that one out. Okay. Want to do a little bit more testing with the change that I said that we see in 5.8 with this overriding this code right here. I want to go back in time to see on 5.6 and so on. Was this also the happening? Was the site logo overriding the theme mod? And if no, if this is new in 5.8, then I'm going to go to the theme team and ask, why is this the expected behavior when you change themes? Or did we as the testers, this test team, discover some edge case, right? Switching themes that can cause confusion. Okay. Is it working the same in PHP 8? You know, I tested that very briefly yesterday, and the reason I had to switch off of PHP 8 is one of the plugins I was using was not happy on 8. So once I got rid of that, it was working the same from what I could see, but I need more thorough testing. If you want to give that a try, Piotr, too, we can collaborate on that and compare notes between the two. That's a very good point. Change the stacks. Try it on 8. Try it on 7 or 5.6, PHP 7 or 5.6. Switch between themes, see what's going on. Okay, anything else? Good questions, by the way. Keep them coming. I like the way you're thinking. Yeah, good job. Meant the type comparisons. No, that didn't change in 5.8.0. Okay. In what's going to be happening as PHP 8 moves more and more, there's going to be some deprecation notices and some different things that will be coming. But in the current 8.0, no, that isn't going to affect us per se. Yeah. And then he says, joking. Yeah. Oh, man. Trying to imagine what PHP 10 is going to be. Wow. After 8 took a dramatic shift and going from loosey-goosey of the PHP that we're all used to now getting very, 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 very strict and changing some of the nature of what PHP has always been. Yeah, which causes a lot of pain for all of us here in Core trying to change and make the code compatible all the way from 5.6 to 8 and all the future stuff that's coming. It does make Core better and better and better, but it's kind of a pain to go through, especially with all the filters, as anything can type juggle and change things. For those who don't know, PHP 8 and the direction of PHP is to get more and more and more strict and say, I expect this ID, post ID, attachment ID, the site logo ID, I expect that ID to always be an int. And if it's not an int, then it's unexpected and I'm not going to use it, or I'm going to flag an error, or I'm going to tell you you're doing it wrong or something. Right? Getting very, very, very strict at that point. You declare it as this and you use it as that. That comes from a lot of other languages like C, C++, some of the Microsoft stuff with like C# and so on, where you declare right from the get-go, when you declare a variable like site logo right here. Here's an example. Site logo, you also declare what its data type is. So you can't just say a string and an int will both work. Wow. Crazy, huh? Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Piotr. I figured that's why you were asking that question there. When do we expect it to be fully compatible with PHP 8? It's going to be a long time. Yeah. There was a lot of effort put into making it what we're calling beta compatible. That was done in 5.6. And since then, we've been working really hard, and we still have a long list to go to make WordPress core fully compatible. And now there's 8.1 coming, which this year for 5.9, we have to get it. There's a lot of deprecation notices going. It's something that Juliet, myself, John, the two Johns, Sergey, and so on the build and test component side of things and the PHP side of things. And any of you who want to come join us, we'll be working very heavily on because there's a big change coming in 8.1. So yes, it is not fully compatible with PHP 8 yet. PHP 8, for example, brought in named arguments. So named arguments as your parameter names is a cool idea, but it's very problematic for WordPress core. So there's a lot of work that has to be done behind the scenes, and we're still just working our way through it. Good question. It is something that we are actively working on, by the way. Yeah. So we would love to have core be fully compatible with all the PHP versions that it supports. Right? Whatever those versions are, from the minimum to whatever is the current new release to the future one that's in process, that's our goal, is to keep working in that direction. Yep. So if you're also interested in the building automated test side of things, that's another area where you can get involved. Juliet and I stream about every other week on Fridays where we're working through those types of things in our automated testing side of stuff. And I'll be doing more of those specifically too for those who are interested in building like unit tests, end-to-end tests, those types of things. Okay. I tend to focus more on the unit test side, but we will get into end-to-end as well. All right. I think this is a good stopping point. If there are any other questions, drop them in our Slack channel. Let's keep talking, right? We can work async. I'm around all day today from now, probably now for about another 6 hours-ish. I'm around because now I work full-time in core. So ping me if you need anything, okay? All right. Happy testing. Thanks for joining me. See you in Slack.